January 2024 has seen the standard seasonal slowing of the rental market, but rents have remained stable. I'm Toby Martin, and here are your latest Bath rental market insights. I'm recording this on the last day of January, so I think it might be a little too late to say Happy New Year, but Happy New Year. Let's have a look at the usual statistics that give us a good indication of rental market activity here in Bath over the last month. And we'll start with average letting time. That's the amount of time that it took to rent out a property from placing it on the market to securing a tenant, which to all intents and purposes stood at 2 weeks. To give you some context, in 2023, the year as a whole, the average letting time was 17 days. So we're really looking at a relatively similar market. Moving on quickly now to the average rent achieved on the properties that we let during January. And to be honest, I don't know why I still do this one, because it's been pretty much the same for the last couple of years. It's always around the 99-100% mark, which is an indicator that really, as long as you accurately value the property when it's going on the market, you can be pretty confident of achieving that price. This is a result of the imbalance between rental supply and demand, the fact that there are more tenants looking to rent properties than there are properties available. So that usually means that you can be pretty confident of securing the advertised rent. Now, the average rent increase is quite an interesting one here. That was 6.6%. So that means that on average, the properties we rented during January, we were achieving a 6.6% higher rent than the rent that was being paid by the previous tenant in that property. The average over the whole of 2023 was 7.5%, so a slight drop of 1% in the month of January 2024. January was, on the whole, it felt like quite a slow month, which is slightly at odds with the stats that we went through before. But I think this is a symptom of both supply and demand dropping during January, which meant that the overall clamour for available properties wasn't quite as feverish as it was at points during last year. So we've had to just take a step back slightly when we're valuing properties and setting those advertised rents to make sure we're not overvaluing them in light of the slightly quieter market that we're in at the moment. And that is really borne out when you look at the numbers of new applicants. Applicants meaning property hunters that we registered in January 2024. So these were tenants calling us up saying, I need to rent a property, please can I be on your books for any new properties you're launching this month. Now, it was 162% higher than December 2023. That's pretty much meaningless though, because December is the quietest month of the whole year, and we normally do get a bit of a surge of interest in the new year. However, when you compare that figure to January of 2023, it was actually down by 52%. So when I say it was a slightly quiet start to the year, you can really see that in terms of the number of tenants who are actively looking to rent properties in Bath at the moment. It is slightly lower than usual. I'm sure that will kick on as we get closer to spring and certainly the summer, which tend to be the busier months of the year. So it might be that landlords bringing their properties to the market at the start of this year have to be slightly patient, and we'll have to just be a little bit realistic in terms of how long it's going to take to find a tenant and the level of rent we're going to achieve. We are in a slightly quieter than usual market at the moment. Now, we are at the start of a brand new year and experiencing an interesting economic climate. I thought it would be helpful to catch up with one of our local trusted mortgage advisors. So I spoke to India Whelan of Lisa Parmley Mortgage Management to find out a little bit more about what's happening with mortgages and interest rates.
The buy-to-let mortgage market is off to a good start this year, as there have been several rate decreases across different lenders. This is positive news, as for the majority of 2023, the rates were increasing. Other positive news for a landlord is that the average rent for new lets has typically risen by 9.7% since December 2022. As well as this, UK house prices have typically fallen by 0.8% in the last year, bringing the average house price to £264,400. Therefore, if you are thinking of stepping into the market as a landlord, this could be good news. Buy-to-let mortgage lenders have reviewed their criteria to cater for the current market. A few examples of this are: Virgin Money buy-to-let straight swap remortgages can benefit from a lower rental stress test. Clydesdale Bank take an affordability-based approach to buy-to-let lending, which means they do not require any minimum rental coverage. Foundation Home Loans have launched Solutions by Foundation, which is an additional layer of broad and specialist criteria for extra specialist buy-to-lets, such as multi-occupancy properties, mixed-use properties, and expats. These are just a few examples of the change in mortgage market for buy-to-let properties. If you have any questions, you're thinking of purchasing a new rental property via a mortgage this year, or your mortgage product is due to end this year, book in a call with a mortgage specialist as soon as you can.
Well, that's all for this month. I do hope that that's been helpful. As ever, you're more than welcome to drop me an email or a phone call or pop onto the office and chat with me if you'd like to speak about any of the matters relating to your property or the information in this monthly update. Otherwise, I'll speak to you in a month's time when we'll be just a few days away from the spring budget. How exciting. See you then. Bye-bye.